Good morning, students. Settle down, and welcome to the classroom. Today's explainer is going to focus on a very crucial topic for your upcoming family law paper. We are tackling a direct university exam question today. The question is, Q10, what is Iddat? Explain its purpose and legal effects after divorce or death. So, take out your notebooks and your pens right now, because in this session, I'm going to teach you exactly how to write the perfect, high-scoring answer for your KSLU examination. Okay? Let's dive right into this.
Now, before you start writing the main body of your answer, you absolutely must provide a clear synopsis to the examiner. Your synopsis will simply be 1. The concept of Iddat, 2. Prescribed duration of Iddat, 3. Legal purpose of Iddat, 4. Legal effects and maintenance, 5. Inheritance and child legitimacy, and finally, 6. Conclusion of the answer. Giving this structure right at the start makes a great impression. Let's move to the first part.
All right, first main heading. You will write this heading in bold on your answer sheets. 1. The concept of Iddat.
Under this heading, your introduction needs to be absolutely precise. You will write, under Muslim law, Iddat is a mandatory waiting period which a woman must observe after the dissolution of marriage, either by divorce, that is talaq, or death of the husband. It is an important institution aimed at ensuring certainty of parentage and respecting marital obligations. Now, students, pay close attention here. I want you to underline the words mandatory waiting period and dissolution of marriage in your exam. You must write these exact phrases. These are the key legal terms the examiner is actively looking for when checking your paper.
Following the introduction, you must give the core legal definition. Write this down clearly in your notes. Iddat is a prescribed period of waiting which a Muslim woman must observe after the termination of marriage, during which she cannot remarry. I am saying this slowly because getting this definition perfect is absolutely crucial for your foundation. If your definition is wrong, the examiner will simply not give you good marks for the rest of the answer. And ensure you clearly mention that she cannot remarry during this period.
Moving to our next heading. 2. Prescribed duration of Iddat.
Now, students, listen to me carefully. The exact time frames are highly scoring points. You simply cannot afford to make a mistake here. If you write the wrong duration, you lose the marks instantly. Point 1. In case of divorce, 3 menstrual cycles or 3 lunar months if she is not menstruating. Point 2. In case of death of husband, 4 months and 10 days. Point 3. In case of pregnancy, until delivery of the child, irrespective of above periods. You must explain to the examiner that the pregnancy rule completely overrides the other 2, right? If the woman is pregnant, you do not look at the 3 months or the 4 months and 10 days. The Iddat just continues until the child is born. Write this point very clearly. Next, we transition to heading number 3, legal purpose of Iddat.
Now, students, please understand why the law actually requires this. A good law student doesn't just blindly memorize the rules. They explain the legal logic behind them to the examiner. Point 1. Certainty of paternity. Ensures that the child born belongs to the correct father. I really want to stress this in the classroom today. Certainty of paternity is the absolute most fundamental legal reason for Iddat. It completely avoids confusion regarding who the biological father is. Point 2. Opportunity for reconciliation. Irrevocable divorce allows husband and wife to reconcile. This waiting period acts as a sort of cooling-off period where the marital bond might actually still be saved. Continuing with the legal purposes, you write point 3, respect for marriage. Symbolizes mourning and respect for the deceased husband. This is, of course, particularly relevant in the case of death. And point 4, social and moral protection. Prevents confusion regarding lineage and inheritance. By having a clear, mandated waiting period, society knows the exact status of the woman, and the courts can prevent complicated societal confusion over who inherits what property. This is very important for your KSLU examination, so make sure you list all 4 of these purposes clearly. Now, take a fresh paragraph for your 4th heading. 4. Legal effects and maintenance.
I must warn you, students, this section is the absolute core of the answer. This is exactly where the bulk of the marks are awarded in the exam. The examiner wants to see if you actually understand the practical legal consequences of Iddat. You must list these legal effects verbatim. Point 1. Restriction on remarriage. Woman cannot remarry during Iddat. Marriage during Iddat is void or irregular. You must carefully explain this difference in your paper. Depending on the specific sect of Muslim law, such a marriage has no strict legal validity. It is either entirely void or merely irregular. Point 2, right to maintenance. Wife is entitled to maintenance during Iddat. Point 3, right of residence. Woman is entitled to reside in husband's house during Iddat. These are concrete rights protected by law.
And this brilliantly illustrates our next vital component. You must use this case law for better marks. Write it clearly and underline it. Muhammad Ahmed Khan v. Shah Bano Begum. You will explain that in this landmark case, the Supreme Court held that a divorced Muslim woman is entitled to maintenance, reinforcing welfare principles. Citing this case right here demonstrates to the examiner that your legal knowledge is current and deeply grounded in Supreme Court jurisprudence. It is a highly scoring point.
Returning to our list of legal effects, you will add point 4. Continuation of certain marital rights. Irrevocable divorce. Marriage subsists during Iddat. Husband can resume cohabitation without fresh marriage. You must explain this specific legal nuance to the examiner. If the divorce is revocable, the tie between the husband and wife is not entirely broken until the Iddat period is over. Therefore, they can legally resume their life together without needing a brand new marriage contract.
Next, we signal the continuation of the legal effects with a new subheading. 5. Inheritance and child legitimacy.
Write these points clearly on your paper. Point 5. Effect on inheritance. If husband dies during Iddat, wife is entitled to inherit. Her right to inheritance from his property is strictly preserved. Point 6. Legitimacy of child. Any child born during Iddat is presumed to be legitimate. This legal presumption of legitimacy is absolutely essential to protect the child's future rights. Point 7. Obligation of seclusion. Woman is expected to observe modesty and limited movement, which is the traditional view. Explain these step by step to the examiner.
Now, students, here is your second golden ticket case law. You absolutely must cite Daniel Latifi v. Union of India. Note this down immediately. In this case, the court interpreted Muslim law to ensure that reasonable and fair provision must be made for the wife, extending protection beyond strict Iddat limitations. I am insisting that citing this Supreme Court interpretation is mandatory for securing top marks. It shows the examiner you understand how the courts have actively interpreted statutory laws to protect women's rights beyond just the traditional time frame.
Finally, we reach heading 6. Conclusion of the answer.
Many students lose valuable marks at the very end because they just stop writing abruptly. Never do that. Let me show you exactly how to write this conclusion properly. You will state, Iddat is an essential institution in Muslim laws serving both legal and social purposes. It ensures clarity of lineage, protects rights of women, and maintains respect for marriage. Modern judicial interpretations have strengthened its role by ensuring fair maintenance and protection of women's rights. By summarizing the legal logic and including the impact of the modern judiciary, you provide a perfect, well-rounded answer. Practice the structure thoroughly. But before I dismiss you today, I want to leave you with this thought to ponder. As our society continues to advance, how might future Supreme Court rulings continue to bridge these traditional waiting periods with the modern demand for absolute gender equality? Think about that tonight. Best of luck in your KSLU examinations. Keep studying hard, and I will see you all in the next class.